You know, the world feels so mapped out sometimes, doesn't it? But that feeling of true discovery, like being the absolute first, it's still out there.
It really is. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
We're taking a deep dive into this incredible expedition. They were hunting for uncharted surf breaks in some of the most remote spots in Haiti, pushing limits.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It takes us to a part of the Caribbean most people, well, most outsiders never see. And our source for this, it's fantastic. It's an excerpt detailing the work of John Seton Callahan and the surfEXPLORE group.
Ah, the surfEXPLORE guys, they really specialize in this, don't they? Finding hidden surf.
They do. And this whole Haitian journey, plus others, it's all captured in their brand new book. It's called surfEXPLORE, Discovering New Surfing Locations Worldwide. Schiffer Publishing put it out.
Okay, right. So let's get into the mission itself. It sounds simple on paper. Find rideable waves on Haiti's Atlantic north coast.
Simple on paper, yeah. But
Yeah.
the reality, logistics, geography, even history gets in the way, especially the further you get from Port-au-Prince.
It really pits them against, well, everything. Huge physical challenges, a complex past, even international law, as we'll see.
Yeah.
And for you listening, this is a shortcut, really, a way to grasp the sheer difficulty of exploration today and the unique challenges Haiti faces.
Absolutely. And if this grabs you, the full book really digs deep. It's available everywhere you'd expect. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, W.H. Smith, Kinokuniya, loads of other booksellers do.
Good to know. Okay, so the journey starts. Where did they head first?
The far northwest, the idea was to hit areas the group hadn't touched before. And the northwest, well, it's about as unvisited as Haiti gets.
Right, maximum isolation. That means tough travel, but also
Zero competition for waves. They figured they were probably the only surfers for, I don't know, hundreds of kilometers around.
in getting there. Must have been a trek.
Oh, yeah. A huge drive, days long from Port-au-Prince, through the big cities, then agricultural land, finally hitting the coast way out at Malay St. Nicholas.
And what's it like out there, the landscape?
The description is pretty stark. Sparsely populated, very dry, dusty, cactus everywhere, and a constant wind, this strong northeast wind just blowing all the time.
Sounds challenging even before you think about waves.
Definitely. But this wasn't just a random wander. They had a plan. It's all about understanding the conditions.
Okay, so talk us through the strategy. How do you even start looking for a good wave somewhere like that?
Well, first, timing. Waves are seasonal, right? Everywhere. Haiti's no different. They deliberately went during winter.
Why winter specifically?
That's when the strong north swells come down the Atlantic. You need that energy. But just having swell isn't enough. You need something to shape it.
And that's where the landscape comes in.
Exactly. In this dry region, their main target was rivermouths.
Rivermouths. Okay, for someone who doesn't surf, why focus there? What's special about them?
It's about the sand and sediment. When a river hits the ocean, it drops all the stuff it's carrying: sand, silt. This builds up underwater sandbars or shapes reefs near the coast.
Ah, I see. So the sandbar acts like a ramp.
Sort of, yeah. It makes the incoming swell stand up and break properly, forming a rideable wave. Often creates channels, too, which helps for paddling out. Without that river input, you might just get messy whitewater close to shore. The river mouth is like nature's wave machine in that context.
Smart. Calculated. Okay, so they're in the Northwest looking at river mouths. What happens next?
They started pushing east along the coast, and the environment, it changed quite a bit. They hit Port-de-Paix.
And Port-de-Paix was different.
Totally different. Described as crowded, chaotic. That phrase, Haitian sort of cacophony, really paints a picture. People, motorbikes, vendors selling everything imaginable.
Like what kind of stuff?
Oh, you know, bottled water, extension cords, phone cases. Just the hustle and bustle of a busy port town.
Not good for surfing.
Geographically, no, it was a dead end for waves. And this brings us to a really key geographical point, the swell shadow.
Swell shadow. What does that mean?
Obviously, Port-de-Paix sits right behind this big island, Ile de Tortue, Turtle Island. It's directly offshore.
Turtle Island. Sounds familiar.
It should. Historically, it was a massive base for French and British pirates, like Tortuga from the pirate legends.
No way. Really?
Yeah. But today, its legacy is a bit different for surfers. That huge landmass physically blocks the Atlantic swell, like a giant shield. No wave energy can get past it to reach Port-de-Paix.
So the pirate island is stopping the surf.
Pretty much. To find waves, they knew they had to keep moving east, get out from behind Ile de Tortue's shadow.
Okay, but this island, it's not just geography, is it? There's a modern twist here that's kind of wild.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the story takes a really interesting turn. Ile de Tortue isn't just a swell blocker. It's tangled up in this major international situation.
Guteau.
Well, a few years back, Carnival Corporation, the cruise giant, announced this huge plan, a major cruise ship port development right there on Ile de Tortue.
Wow, that sounds like big news. Jobs, development.
Exactly. Thousands of much-needed jobs for the local islanders. Seemed like a straightforward development project.
There's always a but, isn't there?
There is. Suddenly, this businessman from Texas steps up, and he's got documents. Serious documents.
A ton of documents.
A contract. Signed by his father way back in 1970. And guess who signed it for Haiti?
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Papa Doc.
You got it, Francois Papa Doc Duvalier, during the peak of his rule. And this contract apparently grants this Texan family's company the exclusive right to develop Ile de Tortue for tourism.
Exclusive rights. For how long?
Get this, 99 years.
99 years. From 1970. That's still active then.
That's the claim. So you have Carnival wanting to build now, and this Texan entity saying, hold on, we have exclusive rights based on a deal with Papa Doc.
So what happens?
Total paralysis. The Carnival project slammed to a halt. It's all tied up in courts, both in Haiti and the U.S. Lawyers are battling over a 50-year-old contract signed by a dictator.
That is incredible. So the surfers are just trying to get past the island's swell shadow, and meanwhile the island itself is this massive legal battleground.
It perfectly illustrates the kind of complex layers you find in Haiti. History, development, law, all colliding.
Wild. Okay, so escaping the shadow, they had to keep moving east, right?
Right. Further along the coast, far enough that Ile de Tortue wasn't blocking the swell anymore.
Where do they end up next?
A place called Saint-Louis du Nord, described as a sprawling coastal town. And their accommodation choice there was pretty resourceful.
Oh, yeah.
They stayed at this place called Toi et Moi, you and me. Apparently, a local love hotel.
Okay. Not exactly the Ritz, but why there?
The view. It had this great rooftop, gave them a perfect vantage point to scan the coastline with binoculars, looking for potential breaks, especially right points, before they even got their feet wet.
Smart move. Did they see anything?
They did. And they also found something closer. They drove a bit further east to a spot called Fleur.
Was it better there?
Much better. The swell was definitely getting in. The water was way cleaner than near Saint-Louis du Nord.
And they found a wave.
Yep. Perfect rivermouth setup, just like they'd hoped. Sandbar was doing its job. They had head-high wave.
Head high. So
Yeah.
like 5-6 feet, decent surf.
Yeah. Good, clean, rideable waves. The only small hassle was wading across the little river to get to the lineup where the waves were breaking. But yeah, a solid find.
Nice. A reward for pushing past port to pay. But you mentioned they saw something else from that hotel roof.
Right. Using the binoculars, they'd spotted something way off in the distance. Looked like a potentially really good right point break.
A right point.
Yeah.
That's usually the dream find, isn't it?
Yeah.
A wave breaking off a point of land, peeling along for a long ride.
Exactly. Often high-quality long rides, the kind of wave explorers dream of. But seeing it is one thing.
Getting to it is another.
Totally. The map was useless for this. They ended up just taking a chance on this unmarked, unpaved track they saw, just turned off the main road and hoped for the best.
What was the track like?
Twisted down through really thick vegetation. Eventually, it just sort of opened up right onto the ocean.
And that moment of arrival, finding something potentially unsurfed.
Yeah, that's the core of it. And the confirmation came pretty quick.
How's
The moment they stopped the car, these little kids just appeared, seemingly out of nowhere, surrounded the vehicle, just staring.
that the surfers, the boards?
Right. So Erwan, one of the group, he asks them in proper French, Avez-vous vu des blancs avec des planches de surf?
Which means?
Have you seen any white people with surfboards here before? Basically, has anyone like us ever been here?
And the kids' reaction.
They just shrieked a collective no, and then ran off down the hill towards the waves, totally amazed.
Wow. That's pretty definitive, isn't it? The local kids have never seen a surfboard there before.
It's about as good confirmation as you can get. So they set up a little camp under some coconut trees near a farmer who was growing cassava.
And they surfed it.
They paddled out, rode the wave, and the conclusion was pretty clear. They were almost certainly the very first people ever to surf that specific reef break on Haiti's north coast.
That's incredible. True discovery, just finding that wave.
That's the moment. But the swell was still running, The mission wasn't quite done. They decided to push even further east.
Where to next?
Towards a town called Le Borgne. And this meant relying on the map again, which showed this thing called Route Departmental 117 going over some mountains.
Route Departmental 117. Sounds official enough.
Yeah.
but I sense a problem coming.
Oh, yeah. This raises that big question, right?
Well,
What does a line on a map actually mean in a really remote place?
let me guess. Not much.
Because the second they started climbing that route departmental 117, well, it revealed itself pretty quickly
That's why.
as basically a lie. It just deteriorated instantly, became this rough, super muddy, single-track path.
Single track, so no passing.
No passing, and worse, vegetation choked it on both sides. It was impossible to turn around. They were completely committed.
Oh, man. What was the drive like?
Just hours of grinding along in four-wheel drive, super slow, climbing up, eventually into the clouds. You can feel the tension in the description. It sounds terrifying. The climb up was bad enough. But the real danger, the really scary part, came on the way back down later that day.
Why? What happened?
It had rained hard while they were up scouting, so that muddy track. Now it was pure grease, even more stubborn, even more treacherous.
Okay, I'm embracing myself here.
They were on a high section still in the clouds, visibility poor, and they just lost traction. The vehicle started sliding on the mud.
Towards the edge.
Towards the edge. It slid sideways and stopped violently, just in time.
Oh, close.
One wheel was completely off the track, hanging over the cliff edge, and below, just air. 100-meter sheer drop.
Oh, my God. That's survival, not surfing.
Absolutely. The danger there just dwarfs everything else. Stuck in the dark, in the clouds, vehicle literally hanging over a fatal drop.
What did they do? How did they get out of that?
They didn't, not on their own. It was desperate. But then help arrived, again, sort of out of nowhere.
Locals.
Yeah, several local Haitian men appeared out of the mist, and they had heavy nylon straps. They knew exactly what had happened.
It happens often.
Apparently, yes. They said it happens all the time with the few vehicles that even try that route, especially the taxi Bruce, the local bush taxis.
Wow. So these guys were pros at vehicle recovery on this death trap road.
Pretty much. They knew the terrain, the mud, everything. They got the straps on, worked together, and just expertly pulled the vehicle back from the brink. Local knowledge saving the day completely.
Unbelievable. What a nightmare. Did they finally make it to Livornia?
They did, safely, the next day. Shaken, I imagine, but safe. And Livornia itself turned out to be another kind of reward.
How so?
The town felt preserved, almost untouched by modern development. Very atmospheric. And the reef.
Guess. Route Departmental 117.
Exactly. Because that road had become so bad, so impassable decades ago, it basically cut Livornia off, isolated it, protected it, in a weird way, from the changes happening elsewhere, infrastructural collapse as preservation.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And was there surf? Was it worth the near-death experience?
Oh, yeah. The final payoff. Livornia had exactly what they were hoping for, an excellent rivermouth wave.
Good quality.
Really good, fast, hollow rights. And the best part, it was right there, walking distance from where they were staying.
So after everything, they found this perfect, accessible, uncrowded wave in a town cut off from the world.
That's the synthesis, isn't it? This incredible trade-off. You get pristine, empty waves, true exploration in Livornia, but only if you're willing, or maybe lucky enough, to survive the journey on those so-called roads.
It ties the lack of development directly to the untouched nature of the place.
It really does. And this whole account from John Seton Callahan and the surfEXPLORE group is just so layered. When you zoom out, it's not just a surf trip story, is it?
Not at all. It's history, like that 99-year Papa Doc contract.
Yeah.
It's the reality of underdeveloped infrastructure. It's complex legal fights over land and resources.
And it's about what it actually takes, the sheer effort and risk involved to achieve genuine geographical discovery today in the 21st century.
So, summing up for you listening, we've seen this amazing contrast, right, between chaotic Port-au-Prince and that remote coast. We've touched on that bizarre legal fight over Pirate Island, Ile de Tortue.
A legacy of Duvalier still playing out.
And, of course, the absolute thrill and terror involved in finding and surfing a wave, potentially for the very first time ever.
That achievement, finding these pristine spots, it really makes you think, though, if we look forward.
Yeah.
Considering these huge infrastructure challenges, the difficulty of access that, in a way, protected places like Livornia, what happens now that these resources, these perfect waves, are documented?
Right. How does the knowledge of their existence potentially change things? Especially in a place with such tangled legal claims over development.
Will these waves become the next contested resource? Caught up in the same kinds of disputes that are already paralyzing development on Ile de Tortue, it's something to really mull over.
A fascinating question. How does discovery impact a place fiercely protected yet simultaneously held back by its own complexities? Definitely food for thought.